Sarah Ferguson's Mayfair home does not solve the Prince Andrew problem. Sarah Ferguson's Mayfair home does not solve the Prince Andrew problem, according to a royal commentator who spoke exclusively to GB News. The Duchess of York's empty £4 million central London home has sparked questions about whether the Duke and Duchess could move from Royal Lodge amid a row with King Charles. As Andrew continues to grapple with the King over keeping his royal residence in Windsor, Fergie has been hauled into the row after neighbours claimed the house remains empty. Welcome to Royal Pancakes. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell, so you don't miss any news about the British monarchy. The two-bedroom Georgian house is located in Belgravia, a short distance from the homes of their two daughters, Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie. Gareth Russell, a royal commentator, spoke exclusively to GB News about whether Andrew and Sarah could realistically move into the Mayfair property amid the siege of Royal Lodge. He said, "Certainly, the Duchess of York could live safely and comfortably at the home, and her daughters and grandchildren could visit her there and stay there very regularly. However, the security for Prince Andrew will always be a factor. Moving someone like Prince Andrew, who is a brother of the monarch and also a very controversial public figure, into a private residence in the centre of one of the busiest cities in the world, is not something that can feasibly be undertaken unless there is a security presence there. Plus, that doesn't really solve the problem of how to keep Andrew safe without making him a burden to the taxpayer. There doesn't seem to me to be any way in which Prince Andrew can relocate into Mayfair or any part of London without substantial security that either he pays for himself, which he won't be able to afford for very long, or is paid for by the taxpayer. And whatever one thinks of Prince Andrew, certainly, he is an immensely controversial figure. Frequently in polls, he is the least popular member of the royal family by quite a distance. Russell argued that the only logical place to move the Duke of York is to Frogmore Cottage, the former UK base of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. He added, "Prince Andrew is also the brother of the sovereign, and as a result, he will be a target of terrorist threats and kidnapping, which is why the safest thing for him to do is to go into Frogmore, because it's within the Windsor Security Court, which means that it is within an area of Crown land that is already protected by security. So if he goes to Frogmore, he will be safe at no extra cost, either to the monarchy or to the taxpayer." Sarah Ferguson gave a three-word plea to this morning's Cat Deely after a fun night out in West London. The presenter has a circle of friends that takes in radio DJ, Edith Bowman and the Duchess of York. Speaking to the Sunday Times about a West London night out, she said, "It was so fun. I had to put Sarah Ferguson in the car. She was, like, don't leave me." The 47-year-old presents Fox's popular reality show So You Think You Can Dance, sidetyped, and is married to Northern Irish comic and The Late Late Show presenter Patrick Keelty. The Duchess of York stepped in to co-host This Morning last year, which Deely currently hosts alongside Ben Shepherd. During her co-hosting stint, Fergie offered relationship advice to callers. Both featured callers asked the Duchess's advice on making time for their partners. She responded, "The element of surprise that will bring the magic back to the relationship." Later, the Duchess noted that she'd done the same in a previous relationship, by leaving love notes in her partner's squash shoes. Fergie was married to Prince Andrew from 1986 to 1996 and they share two daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. Deely started her presenting career on MTV alongside Scottish radio and TV presenter Edith Bowman. The two have remained friends ever since. The pair are so close that at one point they were rumoured to be in a romantic relationship. She told the Thanks a Million podcast, "We were really good mates, and we are really good mates still. And it was like, oh, Kat and Edith are in a lesbian relationship." Photographs of us kind of holding each other up, coming out of the Met Bar or whatever was because we were liked, it wasn't because we were like, licking each other's faces off. We are in love, but as friends kind of thing, it's so bizarre. Dee and her husband decided to make the UK their main home base again, partly out of a dislike of former President Donald Trump and partly due to their concerns over the ever-rising tide of gun violence. She said, "There was a moment when I was with a friend looking at potential schools for Milo and we had to ask the question nobody wants to: what do you do if there is a live shooter on the premises? They tell you exactly what would happen, whether the kids would go to a safe room or hide under the desks. The danger suddenly becomes a reality." However, she said she still misses her Beverly Hills home. "Never ever did I ever take it for granted. From my balcony, you could see right the way down Benedict Canyon to the ocean. I'd sit having my coffee in the sunshine in my pajamas surrounded by hummingbirds. At night the house glowed pink with the sunset. It was blissful." The Duchess of York, 64, recently gave Instagram fans a glimpse of her latest engagement at the Ocean House Author Series in Rhode Island, and it featured an intimate moment where Fergie shared the story behind Princess Beatrice's revealed scar on her wedding day. While promoting her novel, A Most Intriguing Lady, in the video, she said, "My daughter had scoliosis down her spine. She has 15-inch metal rods down her back. So at her wedding, she wears a V-neck dress to show the scar, of how proud she is that she can stand there with her scar." The royal also mentioned her scars after undergoing a mastectomy for breast cancer. Ferguson continued, "I always say, the scars of the heart, just because you can't see them, doesn't mean you're not traumatized by them. And so yes, I'm very happy with Derek and Eric," she added, referring to the nicknames for her breasts post-surgery. "They're fantastic." The candid clip comes just a few weeks after Eugenie honored her mother in a heartfelt post for Scoliosis Awareness Month in June. The 34-year-old royal, who shares 2 sons with her husband, Jack Brooksbank, had her surgery as a young child. And to mark the occasion, she shared a throwback mother-daughter pic and wrote, "My mum caught my scoliosis early and I was lucky enough to get the help I needed at 12 years old. I thank her so much for that and also thank her for the confidence to be proud of my scar." The princess added, "She removed all the stigma around having scoliosis for me by confidently showing people what I'd been through, and it took all the fear and anxiety out of being different at such a young age. I am forever grateful and wish everyone to be proud of their scars." It comes as no surprise, then, that the royal has been so outspoken and determined to raise awareness. In fact, in the same month, Princess Eugenie shared close-ups of her scar from her wedding day and urged fans to embrace their own scars. She wrote, "To all of you who have just received the diagnosis, to those wearing braces, to those recovering from an operation and for those who have lived with a scar for years. My thoughts are with you on Scoliosis Awareness Day.